Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this middle of the day market update. There is a lot to talk about, all right? So hopefully I won't forget anything. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is Bitcoin, of course, the price of Bitcoin right now. What is it doing? Are we going to drop down lower, etc.? Then I wanted to talk about some statistics or some data that I think you need to keep an eye on. And if you do, and if you actually see what's going on there, and if you have somewhat of an idea of what's going on, you will know whether the markets are going to be bullish and are going to be good or not. And then last of all, I wanted to do a brief kind of update on XRP and altcoins in general. Interesting altcoins, which today, or at least over the course of today so far, some altcoins have actually been quite interesting. And you can see in general, the altcoins started to uncorrelate a bit, which is usually a good sign. However, Bitcoin is falling down, all right? And in general, and I said this earlier today as well, what I think is most likely, or at least the most crucial level to keep an eye on with Bitcoin is this level right here between 101 and 102,000. For me, that is the level we need to hold to stay bullish, all right? And that doesn't, and then kind of the altcoin price action depends on the Bitcoin dominance, so therefore it doesn't really matter. But if we actually want to stay bullish and want to get up higher into 110, into 115, I think this is the magic level to hold. We can spike down below that, like we also did on Monday and the beginning of Tuesday. That's fine, as long as we keep close and above that value area high right there. Because if we lose that, it's not necessarily the end of the world, but it is an indication that the uptrend, which we think is present right now, is not present there, and the price may actually be a bit weaker than we would have expected. So yeah, I do think this is most likely. All right, if you take a look at the development of all the fundamentals, and in general, I actually do think like the US markets are opening 30 minutes from now. In general, dumping into the US session is actually better than rallying into it, because very often you see that it kind of reverses after it opens. But those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. And then some of the things I think you need to keep an eye on are a couple of things. First of all, dollar strength index. This has been one of the reasons why we have seen some more bullish momentum, because this reversed. It was very bullish, turned bearish, at least on the 4-hour time frame. If we actually do want to see much more bullish markets, I think this needs to fall down lower. All right, so if you are able to keep an eye on the dollar strength index, or the DXY, that's how you will find it. That's the ticker, the symbol for it. Keep an eye on that. And if this actually starts to drop down lower, who knows, maybe because of the Bank of Japan interest rate decision, could be. That's an amazing sign that we can actually have more bullish momentum. Then outside of that, the Bitcoin dominance. For me, the crucial level for the Bitcoin dominance right now, while I clean up my chart a bit, is this level right here at 58.25%. If we want a strong market, or at least a strong market for altcoins, we need to see the Bitcoin dominance fall down lower. And for me, 28.25% is the main level to keep an eye on. If we drop down below that, I think that's enough confirmation, or at least somewhat of an indication that the Bitcoin dominance is going to drop down much lower than that. And then we can actually have a couple of days where altcoins perform amazingly. And then the last one, the third one, so now we've talked about the dollar strength index, the Bitcoin dominance, especially for altcoins. And then the second one is the Coinbase Bitcoin price. Yesterday, that got into a premium. I would love to see that get into a premium again during the US session today. That would be, again, a major bullish indication that we can actually have more bullish market circumstances. And that's what we want, right? So those are the three things I would kind of keep my eyes on. Now, for now, it looks, to be completely honest, and to talk a little bit about my prediction for the markets, it looks like the Bitcoin dominance wants to fall down here. And like I said, altcoins kind of uncorrelating and some narratives jumping out is a bullish sign. I would just love to see a little bit more confirmation. All right. So we'll talk about interesting altcoins in a moment. First of all, to do a brief XRP update, I don't have anything to update. This morning was quite bullish. That's not against our expectations. But like I said, I think we're in this range between 3.35 and 2.9. So we're going to bounce up and down. Those are possibilities, but ultimately we're looking at those two major levels to see whether we can get a breakthrough. And my personal focus is most on this level between $3 and 2.9, that if we get a strong reaction from that level, I will buy into XRP. But anything in between, we can bounce up or down, right? We can bounce up or down like 10% up, 10% down, that's possible. But I'm focused on those extremes. And within those extremes, and that's what we are in right now, we're just consolidating. Now, other altcoins I think are quite interesting. What we saw, or at least what we are seeing right now, is that the Solana ecosystem is actually quite strong. So then we're talking about Bonk, we're talking about Jito, we're talking about Solana on its own, talking about Jupiter, talking about Pyth, Mu. That seems to be the strongest narrative right now. So keep an eye on it. I personally don't see any setups on it right now. I mean, when we're looking at something like Bonk, I think this needs to break out at least above this level at 3,500 for me to consider it to be interesting. Same thing with Solana. I'd need to see a breakout at least above 265 to consider this interesting. So keep an eye on that, but I personally don't see any setups on it right now. And then second of all, after the news that we got yesterday and also this morning, those coins were quite strong. AI, all right? So then we're talking about BitTensor, Tau, or we're talking about Arweave, we're talking about WorldCoin, we're talking about Fetch. Most of these, same thing. I don't see any setups on those, but that could be another narrative where we actually have somewhat of a reason to be bullish on it. And we have somewhat of proof as well. So keep an eye on those. That's what I think you need to know for now. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.